Hi, it is iYikkam time again. So today I receive a really interesting questions, and the question is, how come in the forum when people say that they can push you around like a rag doll and you do not have the skill, you don't meet them and you don't want to meet them to prove that you are skilled? Well, this is a good questions, and I like to share with you my view. The first thing is that when people say that to me, and it is often I heard those kind of stuff, is I check myself. Okay, I look into myself that what is the reality. Okay, because if one is really develop one skill, one know what one can do or what one cannot do. It is not other people, it is us. Okay, so there is no need to prove anything because you know right away, okay, what is the defects. The second thing, which is it is my missions, okay, that which I can share with you today. My missions is not to prove that I have a skill better than anybody. Okay. My missions is to bring Wing Chun into science and technology and with a clear process and well-defined references. I see this much important than I can beat anybody or I have a higher skill or whatever. When people say something, I'm going to meet them and then just throw them around, those kind of stuff. Okay. So people might not understand why do you do that? Okay, if you really have the kung fu, get the skill, why don't you just prove yourself? Well, let me share with you one story. Okay, and actually this is part of history of the China. At the end of 1800s, Chinese have this fabric industry, like the cloth making industry. At that time, Chinese is using manual making of cloth, and of course there's a lot of high skill master who can work on this cloth industry or fabric industry. Okay, so they are top people there and so forth. And so guess what? The European start bring in the European fabric into China. At first, of course, the European fabric is not as fine, like as good in quality, because this is a machine make. Okay. But then only very short period of time, the European machine get better and better. And guess what? The Chinese, the high skill fabric industry get wiped out because of this machine. They produce better cloth, better fabric. Okay. Now Wing Chun is facing that, not only Wing Chun. Okay, all Chinese martial art is facing that, and the MMA today is like a similar or analogy to that European fabric machine in the late 1800. Okay, now what is important now, like in this history of the fabric industry in China, Wing Chunner need to be really careful. Okay, one can claim to be high skill and all kind of stuff, but when the machine made cloth or fabric from the European country come in and they keep improve because they are scientific, you get wiped out. Okay. So my mission, I take it, my missions is to map everything in the ancient into the modern physics. Only that way we can compete. Otherwise, we will be like similar to the Chinese handmade fabric industry. You get wiped out in no time. Okay. So actually, we don't have time to have this egoistic way of saying, hey, my skill is better than you, blah, 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 okay? What is important is to get the scientific processes of Wing Chun training set up ASAP. Without that, you're going to look at the whole thing get wiped out like the handmade fabric industry. If you read the Chinese history of late 1800 or since mid 1800 to early 1900, you can see a lot of so-called high skill stuff and so forth get wiped out. Wiped out by what? Machine. Okay. And so ask the questions. What good is those skill when machine can wipe you out? Okay. So my mission is to map the ancient Chinese martial art or Wing Chun's the base into the modern physics, because only that way Wing Chun have a future. Without that, forget about it. And as I always asking, everybody say, what is my Wing Chun? Are you serious? Is it really Wing Chun? Okay. So this is very important thing. So this is what I like to share with you today. And this is a serious stuff, okay? That if we do not get Wing Chun into scientific, it is over. The game is over. The history, we know by reading the Chinese history, we know what is going to happen. Okay, and as for testing the skill, or I'm better than you, can push you like a rag doll. You know what? You look at the thing. Did the other party playing action force or reaction force type? Look at the body signature. Okay, all those kind of stuff. And of course, if you are young, 25-year-old or 30-year-old, you can say, well, I'm going to push everybody, you know, I have a good skill, blah, blah, blah. But the same person, when they get to 65 years old, see what he can do. And often you can see that people who is claimed to be good at 20th have all kinds of problem in the 65-year-old. Okay, and that show, is it kung fu or is just brute force beating other people? Okay, and so for me, I look at those stuff as it is meaningless. What is meaningful is to map the entire thing to the science. And you look at the Western science, right? Since the industrial revolutions and the digital revolutions, now you get into the artificial intelligence. So is Wing Chun going still to stuck at the late 1800 type of mentality of I want to test you my skill and those kind of stuff? Or you say, wait a minute, AI is coming in. Okay, if we're going to think that way, there's only one way out, meaning get wiped out, clean. Okay, so this is to share with you today.